Life when the road grows dark and uncertain, when doors close without explanation, and the people we trusted quietly fade from our path. In those moments, it is easy to believe that we have been abandoned by luck, by hope, even by destiny itself. But what if those moments are not signs of loss, but signs of protection? What if the disappointments that shook your heart were actually hands guiding you away from storms you were never meant to face? Life has a mysterious way of whispering before it shouts, of redirecting us before we fall too far. And if you listen closely, beyond the noise of fear and doubt, you may discover that there has always been a quiet force walking beside you, shielding you, guiding you, and reminding you that you are never truly alone. Today, we will uncover 5 powerful signs that suggest something greater may be protecting your path, even when you cannot yet see the reason why. There are seasons in life when the weight of the world seems to press against your shoulders, when every step forward feels heavy and every breath carries the taste of struggle. In those moments, you may believe you are reaching the end of your strength. You may look at the obstacles before you and quietly wonder if you have anything left to give. Yet somehow you keep moving. Somehow, even with a trembling heart and tired spirit, you rise again. And it is in those quiet victories, those unseen moments of courage, that a deeper truth begins to reveal itself. Strength does not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it appears softly, like a whisper in the dark, telling you to hold on just a little longer. Life may try to bend you with disappointment, loss, or betrayal, but something within you refuses to break. You endure nights that feel endless, and still you greet the morning. You face words that wound, yet your heart continues to beat with hope. That quiet resilience, that steady rising after every fall, is not something everyone possesses. It is often a sign that a greater force is shaping your spirit through the fire rather than allowing the fire to consume you. Many people imagine strength as something loud and unshakable, but true strength is often born in silence. It grows in the moments when no one is watching, when you gather the scattered pieces of your heart and decide to continue anyway. The world may see only your calm face, unaware of the battles you fought within yourself just to stand tall again. But every time you rise after being pushed down by life's storms, something within you becomes stronger, wiser, and more unbreakable than before. There is a quiet mystery in how some people survive what should have destroyed them. Situations that could have ended their dreams instead awaken a deeper courage inside them. Pain that should have hardened their hearts instead teaches them compassion. Failure that could have buried their confidence instead becomes the soil where their determination begins to grow. It is as if an unseen hand is turning every hardship into a lesson, every wound into a doorway for growth. When you notice this happening in your life, when you realize that the very struggles meant to break you have somehow strengthened you, it may be more than coincidence. It may be a sign that your spirit is being guarded and guided. The challenges you face are not there to erase your light, but to refine it. Each trial becomes a reminder that there is a deeper power working quietly behind the scenes, molding your character and preparing you for paths you cannot yet see. So when life grows heavy and the road becomes difficult, remember this: the strength rising inside you did not appear by accident. It is a quiet gift placed within your soul, a reminder that even in your weakest moments, you are not fighting alone. Something greater may be standing beside you, lifting your spirit each time you fall, and gently reminding you that you are far stronger than the world ever expected. There are moments in life when waiting feels like a quiet kind of suffering. You watch others move forward while your own path seems paused, as if the world has forgotten your name. Opportunities slip away, plans fall apart, and the dreams you once held tightly appear to stand just beyond your reach. In those moments, delay can feel like rejection. It can make you question your worth, your direction, and even your faith in the journey itself. But time has a way of revealing truths that impatience cannot see. What feels like a setback today may one day reveal itself as protection. Many of the things we once begged life to give us immediately would have broken us if they had arrived too soon. Sometimes we are not being denied, we are simply being prepared. Life understands what our hearts are not yet ready to carry. And so it slows us down, not to punish us, but to shape us into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of holding the blessings that are meant for us. Think about the moments when something you desperately wanted did not happen. A door closed just when you thought it would open. A path disappeared right when you believed it was leading you towards success. At the time, it may have felt like the universe was working against you. But as the years pass, perspective begins to change the story. You may realize that the opportunity you lost was connected to people who would have drained your spirit. The path you almost followed may have led you into struggles you were not meant to face. Delay has a quiet wisdom hidden within it. It gives you time to grow in ways you did not expect. While you are waiting, your character deepens, your patience expands, your understanding of yourself becomes clearer. The waiting season teaches you lessons that success alone could never teach. It strengthens the roots of your spirit so that when your moment finally arrives, you will not be easily shaken. There is also a mysterious beauty in timing. Life often places people, opportunities, and breakthroughs into your path at the exact moment they are meant to appear. Not a day too early and not a moment too late. When you look back on certain chapters of your life, you may notice how perfectly things aligned once the right time arrived. The right conversation happened, the right door opened, the right chance appeared just when you were finally ready to walk through it with confidence. So the next time life slows your progress, try not to see it as failure. Try to see it as a quiet rearranging of your path. Something beyond your sight may be working patiently, placing the pieces of your story into the right position. What feels like waiting may actually be preparation. What feels like silence may actually be guidance. And one day, when the moment finally arrives and the path unfolds before you, you may look back at every delay with gratitude, because you will understand that the waiting was never meant to stop you. It was meant to protect you, shape you, and deliver you exactly where you were always meant to be. There are moments when life arrives like a storm, uninvited and relentless. It shakes the ground beneath your feet and tests every piece of who you are. Plans collapse, trust is broken, and the weight of disappointment settles heavy on the heart. In those moments, you may feel as though life has singled you out for struggle. You may wonder how much more a single soul can carry. Yet even in the middle of those storms, something remarkable begins to unfold within you. At first you may not recognize it. It doesn't announce itself loudly, nor does it demand attention. It grows quietly in the background of your pain. Each time you stand up after being knocked down, each time you choose hope instead of surrender, a deeper strength begins to form. You start to realize that the very things meant to weaken you are slowly shaping a stronger version of who you are becoming. There is a strange beauty in the way hardship reveals what comfort never could. When life is easy, we rarely discover the true depth of our spirit. But when challenges arrive and the road becomes steep, something inside us awakens. A courage you never knew you possessed begins to rise. A resilience you never practiced begins to guide your steps. It is as though your soul remembers something powerful that your mind had forgotten, that you were built to endure more than you ever imagined. Many people look at strength as the absence of struggle, but true strength is born directly from it. It is forged in the moments when giving up seems easier than continuing, yet you keep walking forward anyway. It is built during the nights when doubt whispers in your ear, yet you wake the next morning with the quiet decision to try again. Every challenge leaves behind a lesson, and every lesson slowly builds a foundation beneath your spirit. You may begin to notice something remarkable about your journey. The trials that once seemed unbearable eventually become stories of survival. The pain that once felt endless becomes proof of your endurance, and the fears that once controlled your thoughts slowly lose their power over you. Without even realizing it, you transform into someone far stronger than the person who first stepped into the storm. Sometimes this unexpected strength is more than simple resilience. It feels almost as if something is helping you rise when your own energy is gone. There are moments when you surprise even yourself with how calm you remain, how clearly you think, or how bravely you move forward despite the odds. It can feel as though a deeper force is lifting your spirit, just enough to keep you going when everything else tells you to stop. When you look back on those moments, you may realize that your strength did not appear by accident. It grew through every challenge you faced and every obstacle you overcame. What once felt like the breaking points of your life may actually have been the very moments that revealed your true power. And perhaps that is one of life's quiet miracles, that in the very moments when the world seems determined to break you, something within you rises with even greater determination to stand. There are moments in life when people who once stood close to you slowly begin to drift away. Conversations become shorter, laughter fades into silence, and the bond that once felt unbreakable quietly loosens its hold. At first, it can feel confusing, even painful. You may replay memories in your mind, searching for the exact moment when everything changed. You may wonder if you said something wrong, if you failed them somehow, or if you simply were not enough to make them stay. The heart often tries to hold on to what the soul already knows is beginning to fade. But life has a mysterious way of rearranging the people around us as we grow. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to walk beside you forever. Some people arrive to teach you something, to help you through a certain chapter, or to reflect a lesson you needed to learn at that moment in time. When that lesson is complete, their presence sometimes fades as naturally as the changing of seasons. What once felt permanent reveals itself to have always been temporary. When someone suddenly leaves your life, it is easy to see it as rejection. It can feel like a door closing on a connection you once valued deeply. Yet with time and reflection, you may begin to understand that not every departure is a loss. Sometimes it is a quiet act of protection. Certain people may not be meant to continue on the path you are growing toward. Their energy, their mindset, or their intentions may belong to a different direction than the one your life is slowly unfolding into. Growth often changes the environment around you. As your understanding deepens and your perspective evolves, the relationships that once fit comfortably into your life may begin to feel different. Conversations may no longer flow the same way. Priorities may no longer align. And though it may hurt at first, this shift can be a sign that your life is creating space for something healthier and more aligned with who you are becoming. There are times when the departure of someone protects you from struggles you could not yet see. A person who walks away today may have carried conflicts, misunderstandings, or influences that would have eventually disrupted your peace. What appears to be abandonment in the present may later reveal itself as an unseen shield, guiding you toward a more balanced path. As time passes, you may notice something remarkable. When certain people leave, new ones often appear in ways you never expected. Individuals who understand your vision, respect your growth, and support your journey step quietly into the empty spaces that were created. It is almost as if life gently removes what no longer belongs so that something better can find its way toward you. Learning to accept these departures is part of understanding the rhythm of life. People come, people go, and every connection carries its own purpose. Instead of measuring your worth by who stays or who leaves, you begin to recognize the deeper truth. Every chapter of your life is shaping you into someone stronger and wiser. And sometimes the people who disappear from your life are not taking something away from you at all. They are simply stepping aside so that your path can unfold exactly as it was meant to. There are moments in life that pass so quickly we almost overlook their meaning. A missed train, a delayed meeting, a last-minute change of plans. At the time, these moments may seem like small inconveniences, little disruptions that interrupt the smooth flow of our day. We sigh in frustration, wondering why things could not simply go the way we expected. Yet sometimes, hidden within those small changes are stories we will never fully see. Stories of trouble that almost found us, but somehow never did. Think about the times when something nearly went wrong, but didn't. Perhaps you arrived somewhere a few minutes later than planned, and later realized that something unfortunate had happened there earlier. Maybe you chose not to take a certain path, only to discover that it would have led you into a difficult situation. In those quiet moments of realization, a strange feeling often appears. It is the feeling that life gently shifted something in your path without you even noticing. These close calls carry a quiet mystery. They remind us that not everything in life moves according to our understanding. There are moments when circumstances change so suddenly that we cannot explain them with simple logic. A decision you made without much thought turns out to be exactly what kept you away from harm. A delay you once complained about becomes the very reason you avoided trouble. When we look closely at these moments, we begin to notice a pattern that feels almost too meaningful to ignore. Life sometimes redirects us in the smallest ways. A conversation takes longer than expected. A phone call interrupts your routine. A sudden feeling tells you to wait, to pause, or to turn another direction. These moments may seem ordinary at first, yet later they reveal themselves as quiet turns in the road that protected you from something unseen. It is easy to believe that every event in life is random, that the near misses and narrow escapes are simply coincidences. But many people who reflect deeply on their journeys notice something different. They see a series of moments where things could have gone terribly wrong, yet somehow they didn't. Again and again, life seemed to place a small barrier between them and the trouble that almost arrived. These experiences do more than simply protect us. They also awaken a sense of humility and awareness. They remind us that our lives are not always guided by control alone. There are forces, moments, and mysteries that operate beyond what we can fully understand. And sometimes those forces seem to quietly move us out of danger without asking for recognition. When you think about the narrow escapes in your own life, you may begin to feel a sense of quiet gratitude, not because life has been perfect, but because in certain moments it could have been far worse. Something shifted, something intervened, and you continued forward without even realizing how close you had come to a different outcome. Perhaps these moments are reminders that we are not always walking through life alone. Perhaps there are unseen currents guiding us, protecting us in ways we cannot measure. And sometimes the smallest change in our plans becomes the very thing that keeps our story moving safely forward. There is a quiet transformation that happens in the human heart when pain enters the story. At first, pain feels heavy and unfair, like a sudden storm that disrupts everything familiar. It arrives without permission and settles into places we did not know were fragile. In those moments, it is natural to ask why it had to happen, why something so difficult became part of our journey. The mind searches for answers, while the heart simply tries to endure. Yet pain has a way of revealing layers within us that comfort never could. When life is smooth, we rarely discover how deep our resilience truly runs. It is through challenge that hidden strength begins to rise. Pain forces reflection. It slows us down long enough to look inward, to examine our choices, our relationships, and our direction. In that stillness, growth begins quietly, almost unnoticed. There are lessons that cannot be taught through ease. Compassion often grows from having been hurt. Wisdom often develops after misunderstanding. Patience is strengthened through waiting. Each wound carries a lesson wrapped inside it, though we may not recognize it immediately. Over time, what once felt unbearable begins to shape us into individuals who understand life with greater depth and clarity. The very experience that once brought tears can later become the foundation of empathy for others. Pain also refines our priorities. It shows us what truly matters and what was only temporary. When something important is lost, we begin to value what remains. When trust is broken, we learn to listen more carefully to our instincts. When disappointment arrives, we discover the importance of resilience and self-belief. These insights do not appear instantly, they unfold gradually as we reflect on our experiences. There is a quiet dignity in the way people grow through hardship. They do not always speak about their struggles, yet their character reveals the journey they have traveled. Their patience becomes deeper, their understanding wider, and their presence stronger. They carry themselves differently, not because pain weakened them, but because it reshaped them. It removed illusions, strengthened boundaries, and encouraged authenticity. Sometimes, looking back at difficult seasons, you may notice that those chapters were turning points. The loss that broke your heart may have guided you toward a healthier path. The failure that disappointed you may have redirected you toward a more meaningful opportunity. The rejection that felt personal may have protected you from a future you could not yet see. In hindsight, pain often appears less like punishment and more like preparation. This realization does not erase the difficulty, nor does it pretend that suffering is easy. Pain still hurts. It still demands courage, but within it lies the possibility of transformation. When we allow ourselves to learn from our hardships instead of resisting them, something powerful happens. We become more aware, more grounded, and more intentional in how we live. In time, the scars we carry begin to tell a different story. They are no longer symbols of weakness, but reminders of endurance. They show that we survived, that we grew, and that we did not allow hardship to define us. And perhaps that is one of life's quiet truths. Even in pain, there can be guidance, shaping us into individuals who are stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the path ahead. There are moments in life when help arrives in the most unexpected form. You may be walking through a difficult season, carrying questions that have no answers, and feeling as though no one truly understands what you are facing. In those times, the world can feel quiet and distant. Yet just when you begin to feel alone in your struggle, someone appears. A stranger offers guidance, a conversation begins, a simple act of kindness unfolds, and suddenly the weight you were carrying feels a little lighter. These encounters often seem ordinary at first. A brief meeting in a place you almost did not go, a message from someone you had never spoken to before, a chance connection that starts with a simple greeting. But when you look back later, you realize that the timing was remarkable. The words spoken were exactly what you needed to hear. The advice given helped you make a decision. The encouragement offered restored your confidence. It feels less like coincidence and more like careful alignment. Life has a way of placing the right people in the right spaces at precisely the right time. Not everyone who enters your path stays forever, but some arrive with purpose. They may not know how important their presence is, and you may not recognize it in the moment. Yet their influence can shift your direction, open your mind, or remind you of your strength. Sometimes, a single conversation can change the course of your thinking. A simple sentence can spark hope where doubt once lived. When you are searching for answers, guidance often comes through unexpected voices. A stranger might share an experience that mirrors your own struggle. Their story can give you clarity. Someone you just met may offer encouragement that reignites your belief in yourself. Even brief interactions can carry meaning. These moments remind us that support does not always come from the people we expect. It can appear anywhere, in any form, without warning. There is something comforting about realizing that help can find you when you need it most. It suggests that your journey is not isolated. It hints that connections are woven into your life with intention. When someone appears at a critical moment, offering direction or reassurance, it can feel as though the universe gently responded to your silent request. You may not have spoken your need aloud, yet somehow the assistance arrived. As time passes, you begin to see patterns in these encounters. The right people seem to cross your path during turning points. When you feel uncertain about your future, someone offers insight. When you feel discouraged, someone shares encouragement. When you feel lost, someone helps you see a clearer direction. These experiences build trust in the unfolding of your life. Perhaps these timely meetings are reminders that guidance does not always announce itself in grand ways. Sometimes it arrives quietly through the kindness of someone you just met. And in those moments, you may begin to understand that your journey is supported in ways you cannot always predict, but can deeply appreciate. There is a quiet voice that lives deep within the human spirit, a gentle yet persistent feeling that refuses to disappear. It does not shout, and it does not demand attention, but it lingers through every season of life. Even in moments of doubt, when circumstances suggest otherwise, this inner knowing continues to remind you that your story holds more chapters. It whispers that what you have experienced so far is not the full picture, and that your journey is still unfolding in meaningful ways. This feeling often appears during times of uncertainty, when plans change, when expectations fall apart, or when progress seems slow. You may sense that something greater is ahead. It is not based on proof or evidence, but on an internal confidence that you were created for growth, expansion, and purpose. This quiet assurance can carry you through seasons that might otherwise discourage you. It encourages you to keep learning, keep trying, and keep believing, even when results are not immediate. There is something powerful about the human ability to hope beyond current reality. Hope allows you to imagine possibilities that do not yet exist. It pushes you to improve your skills, to refine your character, and to continue developing your gifts. Without that inner sense of more, it would be easy to settle for less than you are capable of becoming. But this feeling prevents complacency. It inspires movement, progress, and transformation. Many people notice this sensation during reflection. They look back at their life and realize that every experience, even the painful ones, contributed to their growth. Challenges that once felt overwhelming later become stepping stones. Failures turn into lessons. Delays become preparation. In hindsight, it becomes clear that nothing was wasted. Each chapter served a purpose, guiding you toward greater understanding and maturity. This persistent sense of purpose can also encourage resilience. When you believe that your story is not finished, you are less likely to give up during difficulty. You understand that temporary setbacks do not define your final destination. Instead of seeing obstacles as endings, you begin to see them as transitions. This perspective changes how you respond to hardship. You become patient with yourself and more committed to your own development. There is also courage hidden within this belief. It takes bravery to trust that your life still holds opportunities you have not yet seen. It requires faith to continue moving forward without guarantees. Yet that inner conviction gives you strength to step into new experiences, explore unfamiliar paths, and embrace growth even when it feels uncomfortable. It gently urges you to expand beyond fear and into possibility. When you truly listen to this inner voice, you may realize it has been guiding you all along. It appears in moments of doubt to restore your confidence. It resurfaces after disappointment to remind you that endings can lead to beginnings. It strengthens your determination when you feel ready to stop. This ongoing sense that you are meant for more is not accidental. It is a steady companion on your journey. And perhaps that is one of life's most empowering truths, that within you lives a constant reminder that your potential is not limited by your current circumstances. and your story is still being written with intention, growth, and purpose.